For this Madden tips and plays video breakdown, we're going to take a look at a man blitz out of the 46 Bear that brings some B-gap pressure from the left end. And what we like about this particular play is it gets to the quarterback within 2 seconds, making it very effective. Plus the pass coverage is pretty decent. So let's go ahead and take a look at this one. The play that we're going to use for this blitz setup out of the 46 Bear is called cover one. As you can see, it's got 5 defenders that are going to rush the quarterback. It's got 5 defenders in man coverage, and then it's got 1 defender playing the deep middle. As far as the playbooks are concerned, as you look at it, here's the playbooks that you'll find it in. This particular video breakdown, we're going to go ahead and use the Browns playbook. Before we hit the field, I want to show you a couple coach adjustments that we're going to make. The first one is we want to go ahead and have auto flip defensive play call off. And then this next one is optional auto alignment base. That's what we're going to set this for. As far as substitutions are concerned, the only thing we want to do is use the defensive swap package. So we're going to go ahead and use that. And the only reason for that is the Browns have 2 really good defensive ends. They have 𝗪𝗲𝘆𝗀𝘆𝗀, who lines up at the left end to begin with by default. And then they also have Myles Garrett, who lines up at the right end. Because Myles Garrett is faster than Smith, we want to move him to the left end position. Now, if you're using the Browns, that's up to you. I recommend having a fast defensive end lined up at the left end position. As far as the setup is concerned with the 46 Bear cover one, it's very simple to do. We've already got base align turned on, so we don't have to do that adjustment. Now keep in mind that is optional. The next adjustment is also optional, and that's to go ahead and call press man coverage. I realize some of you guys may not want to run press man coverage. It's fine, that's optional. Just remember, the one cool thing about this is with this particular defense is you do have a deep zone defender playing over the deep middle. Now the next thing you want to do is spread the defensive line out. And then you're simply going to go ahead and take control of this defender here. Now it's going to be the strong safety, and you want to re-hot route him to blitz, and you also want to put him up behind the weak side defensive tackle, such as you see on your screen there. So make sure he's lined up there. And then if you look at his blitz angle, it should be shooting to the inside here, in between the right guard and center. It should be shooting through that A gap right there. Now, the one thing you got to remember here is, and I know what you guys are thinking, you're thinking, well, Cobra, this guy's going to be wide open, this running back, since he's supposed to be covering him. You're right about this. This guy is supposed to be covering him, and he's still going to cover him because we have 2 things we can do here. We have 2 options. We can manually go out and cover him, which I know a lot of you guys like to do, which is fine. Or the other option would be to go ahead and hit the LB button or L1 button. That's going to switch to where he'll go back and disregard the blitz and actually go out there and cover the running back, such as what you're going to see here in just a second when I run this. So remember, the pressure, as I've already pointed out, it's going to come from Garrett, who's lined up right here at the left end position. And then you're also going to have this guy right here, which is 𝗪𝗲𝘆𝗀𝘆𝗀. He's going to go ahead and bring that pressure off the edge. He's an edge rush threat. He has that superstar rating as well, so that's kind of nice, especially with the Browns. So if you happen to have a team much like the Browns where you got 2 good pass rushers, this might be something you consider doing. Now, the cool thing about Garrett, not only is he an edge rush threat, but he also has the superstar ability where he can cause a lot of fumbles. So that's another reason why I went ahead and put him at the left end position. With that said, let's go ahead and run this and see what kind of pressure we can get on the quarterback. And you can see right there, we got the pressure. Let's go ahead and go into the X's and O's of the play. So we'll go into instant replay and we'll take a look at this. From the top down view and instant replay, we get a better idea as far as the X's and O's of this particular play. So let's go ahead and get right on into it here, because what I enjoy doing. Let's go ahead and take a look at this guy right here, which is the center. That's the one I want to focus in on because he's the key to the reason why this blitz works. And this is what's going to happen here is he's going to go ahead and look to block this guy right here, which is going to be that strong safety. Remember, right? I went ahead and moved him down the box, and he's going to be lined up right here. And he's supposed to be blitzing through that A gap. Now, as I've talked about, as I run through this, I'm going to go ahead and go a little bit through a couple frames through here. Right there, as you look at it, at this point, the center, let's rewind it just a little bit more. The center is, let's go ahead and zoom in. The center at this very moment, he is looking to block towards this guy right here. He's looking to go towards him as you look at it. And that's what I want. All right, that's the key right there. And the other thing I want to point out as I go a little bit further through here, at this very point of this play, right now, I am hitting the LB button or the L1 button to release him, to allow him to go out there and cover this receiver in man coverage, which is, again, is the running back. So I want him to go cover the running back. Man, I don't want to manually do it. Now you can, that's up to you. But for me, I'm going to release him. And then I want to switch over to Garrett, who's now shooting through this A gap and applying pressure on the quarterback. And as you look at this, as I rewind this a little bit, because of what that center does, then these two offensive linemen to the right of him, which is going to be the right guard and the way this right tackle block, the right guard looks to block the strong side defensive tackle, and then the right tackle looks to go ahead and block this guy right here, which is going to be this linebacker that's blitzing. And that's going to allow us to go ahead and get that A-gap pressure coming from Garrett. Not A-gap, but sorry about that. Yeah, get some A-gap pressure coming right through there as you look at our B-gap pressure to get that pressure on the quarterback as you look at it. So that's really the key of this. He's going to get that B-gap pressure as he shoots to the B-gap and gets to the quarterback. Now, as I unzoom this, I'm going to go ahead and zoom out of this. I want you guys to watch the pass coverages. The pass coverages are pretty tight. Keep in mind, we've got press coverage out here. We've got some press coverage lined up here. We also got this defender here playing the deep middle. So we've got all that going on. Plus, we've got some nice, as far as pass rush going on. As you can see, Garrett, he's getting in pretty darn quick, and the coverages are holding up pretty good. The only guy that he might have been able to throw to pretty quick might have been really had a chance to, I believe, in my personal opinion, might have been able to throw it out here, possibly there. But at any rate, the blitz is so quick, your opponent probably ain't going to see that. And then right there, we get the pressure on the quarterback really quick. So that's the nice thing about this particular setup. Now what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and bring that ticker up because I want you guys to see how this blitz works and see how fast we can get to the quarterback. So let's go ahead and do that here. So right there, we get there in about 1.6 on the quarterback, which is nice. We get some nice pressure on the quarterback in 1.61 seconds. So that's pretty good. So that's definitely a defense worth taking a look at, as far as I think you guys will agree to me, as far as bringing some pressure on a quarterback. Now what I want to do is I want to go ahead and show one more alternate setup, very similar, but with one different addition to it. And this is really up to you. You probably won't want to do this one, but I'm going to go ahead and show it to you guys anyways. All right, for the second setup, this one is very similar to the first one. The only difference is we're going to take away the deep zone coverage from the free safety here. So here he is lined up and playing the deep middle right there. What I want to do is instead is I'm going to go ahead and call the press coverage. Remember, we got baseline on, spread the defensive line out. I'm going to switch over to the free safety, and now he becomes the pass rusher. And the key with this is, rather than allowing him to blitz, we want to drop him back into coverage. So we're going to go ahead and drop him back into pass coverage, where he's still going to cover the deep middle. We're just going to manually control him. So let's go ahead and run this, and you'll see the same thing. The same results are going to happen. We're still going to go and get the pressure coming from Garrett right here. As you look at this, the only difference is now we don't control the strong safety. Instead, we're controlling the free safety. So let's go ahead and run this, and you can see right there, there's the pressure. So basically the same defense, and right there, another cool thing you just saw was the fumble that Garrett was able to cause. And that's another reason that as I pointed out earlier, that I want to put him at the left end position. Now, the only thing I did want to point out here to you guys is if the running back stays in the pass block, and I know I didn't mention this to you earlier, if he stays in the pass block, which I'm going to go ahead and do, is the blitz doesn't work very well. Matter of fact, you might not get any pressure at all. But let's go ahead and leave him in the pass block. Go ahead and spread the defensive line out, call press man coverage. And we'll go ahead and at this point, we're going to take control of this guy right here, which is the strong safety, and we'll just do what we did earlier. I just want you guys to watch, but now I want you to point out, even though we may not get that pressure, that's one of the reasons that we've got Smith lined up here, because he still might be able to get by the left tackle with his superstar ability. So that's the reason we did that. So let's go ahead and run this and take a look at it. And right there, we don't get that pressure, but hopefully Garrett or Smith can get through. So that's one thing I want to point out, is that would happen. Now, the other option would be if you go ahead and run this way and the running back stays in the pass block. Let's go ahead and have the running back staying in the pass block. And we'll go move this guy up there. You don't have to rush this guy. If you see the running back staying in the pass block, by all means, drop him back into coverage. Take away the short middle of the field, because now they just took away their running back. Now the running back's not going out. So instead of having 5 receivers going out, now they only got 4, and you got better coverage as far as pass coverage. So if you're pretty good on the stick, you should be able to cover. And plus, that's a strong safety. You should be able to use him a lot better in the linebacker to cover the short middle of the field. So let's go ahead and run it one more time, take a look at this, and maybe get a coverage sack. So we'll go ahead and do this right here and just take a look. Right there, we still got pressure, we got the sack. So I can't guarantee that's always going to happen, but I wanted to point that out to you. So just keep that in mind when you run this, that you may not get the pressure as well as what we had earlier with the running back staying in the pass block, but you still got better pass coverage. And plus, if you mix this in with some of the other defenses, they have no idea if you're running this or not. So they relieve that running back. They just took one of their receivers, one of the eligible receivers out of the equation, which only now has 4. So I just wanted to point that out to you guys. So at any rate, take a look at this defense. It's something that definitely can bring some pressure on a quarterback. There's also a zone version of this I'll show later in another video breakdown that you can kind of get the same type of pressure. This one's called 𝗤𝗎𝗆𝗪 cover 1.